Last time on Dragon Ball Z.
An errant beam killed your father. Don't you guilt me, Kakarots! Low-class scum! Review time! The animation is like very good. Very good. I was excited to see this when I first saw the trailer. It's very fluid, just very well done, and looks a lot like the original at times. Even better at other times. I wish they always animated things like this. I think they did this because of the backlash to Super. It's got some good lighting, some good coloring, it uses like all kinds of good imagery. It even does like first person view from Broly when he's fighting Goku at one point. It was awesome. It actually looked better than when they did it in Man of Steel. And this was Animu. I just had to shit on Man of Steel at some point. It just reminded me of it. The humor is like well balanced. There's almost too much of it, but not quite. I mean, it's Dragon Ball Z, so it works. And like I said, it's well balanced, even though I just basically contradicted that. There's a joke where Bulma wanted to look like 5 years younger. Like, that's why she was looking for the Dragon Balls, and she's the one that had all 6 of them. Well, 6 of the 7. Because the 7th was in the North Pole, and Frieza actually sent like low-level minions to steal them. And the reason why is because, like I said, he wanted to be 5 centimeters taller, and they both went in an increment of 5 because they wanted it to look natural. Like, they wanted it to seem like Bulma didn't want to go 10 years too young because that would be way too obvious. Goku kind of makes fun of her for it. And then Frieza wanted to be 5 centimeters taller so everyone would think he was growing. He didn't want to be an infinite man anymore because he remembered being trapped in hell and that was for eternity. And he didn't want anything like that possibly happening. So he's like, yeah, I want the sweet release of death. But that he'll just end up back in hell. He called it Earth's hell, so maybe he could go somewhere other hell? I don't know how the afterlife works. Vegeta, like, in his first few lines, calls Goku an idiot like 1 billion times. And it's funny. And then Goku's like, how many times are you gonna call me an idiot? He's like, as many times as I want, idiot. Or something like that. He just wrecks him.
You idiot! You idiot! Idiot!
And then Goku was like angrily breathing at the Frieza soldiers that stole the Dragon Balls when they find them in the North Pole. He's just on their ship like with his face pressed up and he's like huffing at them. Or no, his face wasn't pressed up. He was just like... The music's pretty good, except it screams some random shit during like the Broly Goku fight and then the Broly Gogeta fight. Like when the fight between Goku and Broly starts, it just yells their names. It goes, Broly! And then I think it yelled Kakarot or Goku or something. And then it kinda, I think, does it again when Gogeta fights. They definitely say Broly at least, but they just start screaming like some random shit and I pooped myself the first time. Like it was terrifying. The fights are very well choreographed, and what else did I write? Oh yeah, they're well animated. They were actually like fun to watch for the most part. The hits actually felt like heavy and cool. They were actually smacking each other and they did a good job. And it was almost like watching the DC animated shows in the olden days when Superman was fighting some heavy hitter dudes. It was awesome. It felt like it. It seems to kind of use some Dragon Ball FighterZ 3D models at some points. Like, it really looked like it. Like, I don't know if it was the animation style, the graphics engine. Like, something feels like it got used from it. Like, the character models, something got tweaked, which isn't so bad. It's kind of ingenious if they did it. It fit. It was pretty cool. The fight kind of, at one point, Gogeta and Broly are like, they clash, and then they're like, oh, where the fuck are we? Because it appears to just... appears to just break reality, and they're just... Gogeta even says, like, what? Which makes sense, because Beerus and Goku almost destroyed the fucking universe in their fight when that was Super Saiyan Red versus Beerus. And I'm pretty sure these guys now are a bit stronger, like, by a lot. And then they kind of turn the North Pole into a volcanic wasteland. And nobody's really worried about that. We've already got polar vortexes down here. What the fuck would happen if the North Pole turned into a volcano? It's just death. Sweet release from this winter shit. Like I said before, the fight gets a little dark with Goku getting smacked around with the leg slab big or whatever. That sounds weird. And the screaming when he transforms. They build on Goku and Vegeta learning to work together. Because they become Gogeta. And Whis is like, oh, you learn to work together. And they're like, yep. We're kind of getting destroyed here. So it feels more natural that they randomly decide to fuse. Because they have been building up to working together. Instead of just in the movies and GT, they're like, hey, let's fuse. When Vegeta is like anti-fusion. And they don't really build up to them wanting to work together more. And then it could be argued that Gogeta wins a little too easily. But honestly, the fight kind of started tipping in his favor. That's my alarm. It snoozed on its own. And I got a message. What was I? Oh yeah, the fight. So yeah, Broly lost. The end.
No, that wasn't the point! Say it, scum!
The fight naturally tipped in favor of Gogeta, and it was pretty believable. And I mean, it's going to when you got two Super Saiyan blue gods, blods, fusing, bluesing! Kirby. So yeah, the story, it involves Frieza pretty well. Beerus and Whis are in it, which is kind of annoying, but they're also barely in it. Frieza, it's kind of funny how they work him into the Broly story. He basically hires Broly, and it kind of makes sense why he would, even though he hates Saiyans. It just seems like the story wouldn't work, but it did, because of how they did it. Even Beerus gets used as a babysitter for Bola. And Whis is like, I want to go on this adventure to the North Pole. And Beerus is like, I want to sleep. So Bulma's like, perfect, here's my daughter, bye! Which is kind of reckless, but that's the joke! And then Whis at one point, after I guess Frieza gets his ass kicked, Whis... Broly just goes after Whis because he's a mad boy, and Whis just dodges him a bunch and doesn't even care. Except at one point he almost gets hit, so it kind of shows how powerful they both are, which is pretty cool. Yeah, Broly actually gets good character development. He's not just some guy that goes, Kakarot! He doesn't really hate Goku specifically at all, and they didn't do that shit where Goku was crying all the time, but they did make him look like a wimp. They kept crapping on his low power level as a baby. Even for a bad Saiyan, he was bad. I guess my only other possible issue, I didn't really have a problem, was Broly's power jumps. Because he starts off as a noob Saiyan who had some skill fighting Paragus, but Paragus is crippled and shitty, and somehow Broly goes from low class, well, compared to say Goku and Vegeta by this point, he's pretty low, and he gets stronger and stronger throughout the fight. But he's also a mutant, that's his thing. It's just... His power jumps are akin to Kefla, who is supposed to be like Broly, so... Really, the complaint is stupid and get the fuck out of here! Nayana, Yuppie, you're okay. Yeah, so I mean, that's their thing, is getting stronger and making me voice crack. Just imagine Toriyama's putting that down. Make Dippy voice crack. He didn't do that. Also, Broly, it was a little corny how much he wanted to save his son, the reasoning. He's like, I destroy so much, and now I need to not destroy something. Which kind of makes sense, but it's also you're saying, that's racist to us. This fucking thing has dandruff? What? The relationship between Paragus and Broly isn't really explored much. It seems like he cares about his son, but then at times it seems like he doesn't. But when he gets murdered, Broly gets mad, but then he gets sent back home, and they just gloss over the whole thing. It's does his dad kind of cares about him, but does Broly ever resolve that? Does he ever have any internal conflict about being used? versus actually being loved? Who the fuck knows? It's kind of Dragon Ball's problem at times. So, to compare it to... Sorry, cat. To compare it to the original... Sorry again. It feels much less generic, story-wise, than the other Broly movies. Because the other Broly movies were just dumb. Broly wants to come and destroy things and just yells Kakarot all the time. All because Goku screamed a lot when he was a baby. I think the story writers were like, hey, let's come up with something funny and simple and just get to the fighting. It actually fits in the timeline, unlike other Broly. When the fuck could that have happened? Future Trunks is just back with his hair short, and he's got a sword again. But I guess he has a sword again, and whatever. It doesn't fit. None of them do. There's 3. Maybe the second one. I don't know. Paragus is almost, like, identical, but he still feels less generic. Like, there's actual weight and depth to him, too, in terms of what he's using Broly for versus how much he likes him. And Broly is much more interesting and isn't just a mindless dick. He's given, like, low-level intelligence, and you kind of get sympathy for him. And he has a meat-fur snake pet. And he wears his ear. That fur thing is his ear. And he named him Ba because he's an idiot. And that's the noise the monster makes. And King Vegeta's not just like a super murderous cunt. He isn't just like, hey, that guy's powerful, I'm gonna kill him. He's like, hey, that guy's powerful, I'm gonna kill him. Nah, let me just send him away. Because, I mean, I don't want to be a dick in this version. He said that! I should know, it's my father. The fucking way they actually beat Broly is better, too, because... Why do GT writers GT /movie writers who are the same people, why do they decide that everyone could just give Goku their power? Like, he's not a living spirit ball. Have they ever done that in the series? Oh wait, they did. Goku gave Frieza power to live after he cut himself up like a fucking block of cheese. But still, it's dumb. Because they give Goku his power... all their power, and he punches Broly, and Broly dead, except Broly comes back, and then gets Kamehameha into the sun, and then gets like a weird, disgusting clone. Dumb. It only gets worse. But in this version, Goku befriends him, and leaves... he's on a planet with friends. And Goku gives him a house. And food. Retcons! Those happen in this Broly story, which was never even canon to the anime anyway, because who knows where the fuck the movies fit. This fits, and it's similar while still being better. A lot better, with like slight tweaks, actual thought process behind the writing. The Saiyan destruction, Bardock is still trying to stop it, but like I said, he doesn't get stung in the neck and learn to see the future. Learning to walk again! I used to prefer this neck stinging, because it kind of made sense. Oh, I still kind of do. That's like what made him good, was seeing the future. Because in this version, he just suddenly wants to stop destroying things. Whereas in that, he's like, hey, you know what? The planet's about to get destroyed, so I feel emotional. I like my son now. I'm going to go send him away. And I'm assuming his time travel probably didn't happen, but maybe it did, because Toriyama made that movie. But he also made the Bardock movie. I don't know why they redid Bardock. The fucking Dragon Ball canon is all over the place. So all in all, I like this movie. It was great. I actually want to watch it again. I think I will. But I may have found it on a site, because somebody might have leaked it. And I was going to throw some clips in here, but I don't want to. So I gotta wait till I can buy it. Also, it's cold as balls in Michigan. So, that's actually kind of good, because, hey, interview that got canceled, and I can film this, and I'm not sweating my ass off. Bye. Kakarot! Thank fuck that didn't happen. I'm gonna shape my face to look like Vegeta. I am Dippy, the Prince of all Saiyans. What the fuck? No, I'm Nappa.
Oh, wow.